food and the best happy hour in Saratoga. The Diamond Club at Embassy Suites, where the world meets in Saratoga.
Not at the track and not near a computer? No problem. Wager with Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System and you'll never get shut out again. Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System is quick, simple to use, and guarantees your wagers are accurate and placed on time. For more information, visit CapitalOTB.com or call Capital OTB's customer service hotline at 800-292-BETS. Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System. Never get shut out again.
Don't miss the 2017 Thorough Fan Annual Awards Brunch with special guest speaker Donna Barton Brothers. This annual event is Saturday, August 12th at the Embassy Suites in Saratoga Springs, New York. Go to thoroughfan.com for tickets and information.
Coming right back, the American, the European, and it is theatrical in front. Tripolino driving hard, full out as he trying to get him, and here is the winner, and theatrical has won it. Absolutely spectacular.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Going on now at Capital OTB. It's Bet 100, get 100. Simply open a new Capital Bets account. Bet $100 and get $100 cash back. That's free money just in time for Saratoga. Bet 100, get 100 now at Capital OTB.
Relax with a signature cocktail or one of our world-class wine selections while enjoying indoor or outdoor dining for lunch and dinner. The Diamond Club at the Embassy Suites, winner of the 2016 and 2017 Wine Spectator Award of Excellence.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on a Monday morning. Monday morning means a visit from a NYRA handicapper. We've had Andy Serling in already and now plugging into the mix. Gabby Gaudette. Good morning, Gabby.
Good morning, Seth. How are you?
Very good. And I don't have to ask how you are because at the beginning of the meet, I pulled out a Merriam-Webster dictionary and I looked meteoric career rise, and your picture was there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's so much fun coming to Saratoga, Seth, no matter what you're doing, but I'm honored to be part of the Saratoga Live broadcast both this year and last year. You know, we've all put a lot of work in it. It's long days, but it pays off at the end of the day.
And now plugged in for what, April to November is going to be the NYRA schedule for you?
Yep, so after Saratoga, I will head down to Belmont and I'll be working there until Cigar Mile Day. And then after that, I'll return to New York in April and do pretty much the same schedule for 8 months.
Very good. So goodbye to home in Maryland.
I know.
Hello, Big Apple.
Exactly. It's kind of it's weird to think that I'm not going to go back to Maryland after Saratoga, so... But
that's a car ride away.
Exactly. And a train ride. I love taking the train down there.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
You can visit anytime you want. I also want to toss out, yes, Her Life magazine. Go pick it up. I picked mine up at a Hannaford. It was free out there. But Gabby Gaudette and Maggie Wolfendale on the cover of the latest issue.
We're all dolled up, aren't we?
Looking pretty good.
Yeah, it was fun. It's a great story. And Maggie, I don't know if they wrote this part in the story, but Maggie and I, we both graduated from Towson University. We both have parents that were trainers. It's kind of funny, and we're both here now. It's kind of funny, similar backgrounds, similar stories. So, yeah, it's a great article. Very, very happy that they did that.
Yeah, as I say, I picked it up. Highly recommended. It's a freebie. I picked it up at Hannaford, but I think you get a price shopper in various locations. Her Life, and I know Angela, the publisher, and they do a great job with the magazine. Did a good job with your article as well. Let's talk a little racing now. Let's go back. I wanted to pull up the replay from yesterday just because I wanted to A, show it, but B, I wanted to get your thoughts in the Troy yesterday. When I was doing the handicapping show yesterday, I thought Green Mask kind of laid over the field, and other people were not so sure. As it played out, you know, it's not 20/20 hindsight because I said, or it's not redboarding because I said it yesterday, but I think it played out that way. Green Mask was the best in here. He's going to be the number 4 horse and win by a chart margin out 1 3/4. But as I say, I thought just looking at the PPs, he kind of stood out. Pure Sensation had that nice buyer last time at Parks, but I'm always curious about the Parks turf surface, so I wasn't sure where to go there. But as you can see, Green Mass does turn out to be the best.
He was absolutely dominant in this race, and what a quality field that was for an ungraded stakes race.
Next year,
wow.
You have to think there's a grade waiting.
I mean, it was grade 2 caliber at least. So, no, this was a dominant performance by Green Mask. I actually went to long on value. I'm so partial to long on value because he's a great horse. I mean, he can go a mile, he can sprint, he can go anywhere he wants to, but he was just third best yesterday. We saw Holding Gold finish a good second, but the pace scenario really helped him too, because Pure Sensation did get a little bit of pressure early on there. So he's a very good horse though. And I didn't see him standing out as he did yesterday, but hats off to you.
Well, sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's not, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But let's go back to the weekend as well, get some thoughts. Gun Runner and American Gal, the 2 grade 1s. I thought both of those were nice performances. I said in the test, the 3 Southern California shippers kind of stood out. I leaned towards American Gal. That's the way it played out. And then Gun Runner, kind of stood out over the field. But it was fun to see the horse that. And I got a little word. I hear the voting at the in the NTRA poll very close. Closes at about noontime. It's going to be fun to see, but certainly the gap will close at the very least between Airgate and Gun Runner.
And this division's been interesting, to say the least. I mean, we saw Shaman Ghost, who was heavily favored in the Suburban, be taken down by Keen Ice. We saw Airgate, obviously, in the San Diego with a disappointing performance. He's still being pointed towards the Pacific Classic. A lot of question marks there. He has to rebound off of his San Diego, but Gun Runner, he's really virtually untarnished. He's been untarnished for years. And he just seems like he's getting better and better. So there was a couple of questions whether or not he would be effective rating in the Whitney, and he proved that he was just too good. I will say, though, the Rabbit didn't really succeed at his job that he needed to do. But Gun Runner, he's a phenomenal horse.
I had Mike Welch on the other day, and he said, and I think he made a very valid point, jockeys these days don't get the whole point of the Rabbit. They try, they go out and try to win the race. They get out there, and if they get the lead, they'll kind of slow it down and think, hey, I can win the race. In the days. And it was funny also, Dave Brennick had written an article and mentioned the Rabbit and then kind of explained what it was. And I thought, well, yeah, they don't use the Rabbits that much anymore. So, the fans don't really realize what they're supposed to do, and the jockeys clearly don't either. It's go out there, bottom out the field, and hope your player does it. But yeah, it didn't work the other day.
It did not work. And I mean, even if they did go a little bit faster up front, there's no beating Gun Runner and the Whitney. And he's very strong in this division, and I'm happy to see him come back in the Woodward too.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see at the end of the meeting.
But American Gal, Gun Runner's performance was amazing. We should talk about it, all day long. But American Gal, I think she's not getting the credit that she deserves unfortunately, on the same card. And she was pressing the pace, a very fast pace, probably 4 or 5 wide the entire way. And those pace setters kind of fell apart, and she drew off to win by multiple lengths. So she was very, very impressive.
Yeah, 2 nice Grade 1 performances on the weekend. It's been a fun so far. The Meet the Stakes action has been a lot of fun, except maybe, it was fun, but the Jim Dandy just added to that 3-year-old picture, which is
what's going on with our 3-year-olds? Gervin, I mean, he was very good.
I've been tossing out IRAP out. I think the Gervin performance might have flattered IRAP, and it's hard to believe that an eclipse will go to the Indiana and Ohio Derby winner, but you throw the Bluegrass in and he puts another good one on the resume. I think he moves to the head of the class.
There's a couple questions about the division. Who is, in your opinion, or anybody's opinion, the #1 divisional leader right now? And then the other question is, who could it possibly be in a couple months' time? In my opinion, I think the divisional leader right now is still Always Dreaming, because he's won 2 Grade 1s. He was your Kentucky Derby winner. That said, I don't know how that's going to change in a couple of months. We obviously, there's going to be a lot of stock in the Traverse. We saw Gervin show up in the Haskell. So I'm still intrigued a little bit by Taprit, just because there's a lot of horses in this division who probably want to turn back in distance, probably don't have that pedigree to sustain, keep going longer as the year progresses. And I think Taprit, he's coming into the Traverse fresh. So But it's a big question.
I think the Travers will help sort. I think the Travers will
we
help
keep
sort
saying
things
that.
out.
We're like,
Yeah.
the Jim Dandy will help, the Haskell will help, and we're still confused.
And it's somebody walked up to me the other day and said who's the favorite for the Travers, and I thought, I don't know, Tappert maybe, West Coast maybe. So that'll be interesting to see as well. All right, let's take a look at this afternoon, get some of your ideas. And again, you guys are doing a great job. I want to continue to tout the MSG show. I think it's great for racing. I think you guys do a good job, and that's on every racing day now, right? Yeah, and it's a little shorter or a little earlier on Mondays?
It's a little bit shorter.
On Mondays, which makes sense because it's shorter with the 9-race card, but highly recommended.
We start at 4 o'clock, though, every day.
All right, and as I say, a lot of fun and great for racing to kind of evangelize a little bit on what is typically in all sports kind of a network, but to put horse racing in there, maybe pull in some new fans, that's always a great idea. All right, let's kick things off. Race number 7, optional claimer, 62.5, non-winners of 2 other than the condition, 7 furlongs the trip in today's 7. I went master of the obvious with Annie Rocks, just getting back in for a tag since claim. It was in an optional claimer without the tag back in November, but this is the first time in since for some crafty connections and Jason Service and Michael Dubb, Tejana underneath, and then Improv. But I just thought Annie Rocks, as I say, kind of master of the obvious for me. What did you see in the 7?
Yeah, she, I think, is the horse to beat in here, and she's really performed on multiple different surfaces. People might say, well, she was a little bit dressed up on that sloppy sealed track 2 starts back at Belmont. But, she likes the wet surface. She's 3 for 3 on it. I actually thought her race here at Saratoga over the good track last August was very good. The pace really held together that day. She was much the best. She was widest of all. Still, she might have been enhanced a little bit by the moisture in the track. So she's the horse to beat, but I'm actually going to take a shot here with the 1 Malibu Stacy for George Weaver. She gets Lasix for the first time today, and there was really nothing she could do last time out. She chased the likes of a 6-5 favorite who went wire to wire, but some of her races are okay, especially going 7/8. In the Raven Run, she was second behind Lightstream, who I think is a pretty good horse. Her allowance win going 7/8 here last year was pretty handy, and I just don't really trust the speed in here. We've got Tejana, Improv will probably be forwardly placed. We've got Nana Mella. So I don't trust the speed in here, so I'm looking for a little bit of a stalker, which also helps your horse.
We had George Weaver in yesterday, and he likes Malibu Stacy. I couldn't quite pull the trigger, but there are back numbers that say if this horse is moving in the right direction form-wise, it could be an interesting play this afternoon. 8th race today, state bred allowance non-winners are 1 other than. They're going to go 6.5. I went 5, 8, 7, and 6. Again, next race I'll have something out of the box, but these 2 I'm looking kind of at shorter prices. Bluegrass Jamboree. I just thought you got to appreciate what the horse did in the first 2, and then the last one I thought was a good enough effort to put this horse on top, and then Decorator Jen and Shimmering Moon underneath. But I had number 5 Bluegrass Jamboree on top.
This is a good race. I like this race, but I think that Bluegrass Jamboree is the horse to beat in here. Last time out, she ran a good race. It didn't look like she could quite go past Cozy Spring, but Cozy Spring, I think, dictated on the front in that race. So she was probably up against it from a pace perspective. She's running consistently better numbers than the other fillies, and she looks kind of like she's on that upward trajectory. But I'm going to take a little bit of a shot with Grisarla here. Last time out, she did beat the likes of Sand City. Sand City came back to be the beaten favorite against Maiden $40,000 company recently. But sometimes we see this, Seth, that you just have to give a filly a class relief, and then they wake up after that, and that's what I saw from her. They dropped her in class. She got the victory for Maiden 40, and since then, she's been working pretty nicely. So she put in a really nice bullet workout after that win, so hopefully she's in the right direction here.
Confidence builder.
Yep.
All right, we'll see if that works out this afternoon. And then, as I say, the 9th race, I'm looking forward to it. And there's the potential of a little weather today. We'll keep our fingers crossed because I want this to stay on the turf.
It's beautiful right now.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous right now. And so if we're looking at the blue sky as well, it looks hard to believe that things will change. And so we'll keep our fingers crossed. But folks who watch the show enough know I'm a Jonathan Shepard man, and I think this has the Shepard scenario of a horse that in the Mid-Atlantic region throws in a number that's a little light and improves on the move to Saratoga. So 20-1, I'm going with my man Shepard, Words of Love on top to get a new streak started. I have it 1-9, 12, and 10. What did you think of the night?
How many years did he go?
47. Went back to Richard Nixon.
Wow. And then he broke it last year.
He broke it last
I
year.
can remember last year he had a horse who I loved in the last race on the last day here at Saratoga.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't get it. I was so sad. I love Jonathan Shepard as well, so sad to see that. But hopefully we get him back in the winner's circle. I did not see that horse the same way that you did, Seth, but I liked two horses in here. One of them was Photographer. For Tom Proctor. This horse just definitely doesn't look like she's a sprinter, so she should relish going a distance of ground, and she's out of a very nice mare. The mare was a multiple graded stakes winner going up to 1.5 miles on the turf, so she's got the pedigree. She's by Warfront. She's out of 1.5 miles type of turf mare, so sprinting's not her game. I like her on the stretch out, and I also like Smart and Sassy here. I went back and watched her replay. She was really quick out of the gate, and then it looked like she lost interest and then came back. She made multiple moves in the 7 furlong race, so I think she's going to be better at 2 turns, and I think she's going to be the main speed.
Sounds good. All right, Gabby, I know you got a production meeting coming up, so we'll get you off the set. And again, tell people to swing by MSG and Fox Sports and whatnot on the weekends as well. Well, it's like all across the country now, right? Avalanche or whatever it's called. Is it Avalanche?
Altitude.
Altitude, okay.
Yeah, Altitude,
I'm thinking,
MSG,
as I said, Avalanche,
Fox,
that doesn't sound right.
Fox Sports too, all over the place.
Yeah, as I say, it's great. Helps evangelize for the game. You guys do a great job. Gabby Gaudette from the New York Racing Association, thanks for the visit.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. Michael Amo from Thoroughfan. We'll talk a little bit about the organization, the awards brunch coming up, all of that right after this. Stay tuned.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB television network.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today.
I'm Steve Beck.
And I'm Seth Merrill.
Together, we're loose on the lead on Capital OTB, Sundays at 10 a.m. Why should they watch, Seth?
Sit down on Sunday, have a bagel, get some great racing conversation.
Cream cheese only, no jelly. Sundays, 10 a.m., loose on the lead, Capital OTB.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices, to know how to connect the dots? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool, but not the only tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. These too are important tools, and you'll find them all right here at Capital OTB. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
Welcome back to Racing Across America, Monday morning. Boy, as you can see, the sun is shining behind us. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Right now, it is a gorgeous morning here at Saratoga, live from the backstretch. Happy to be joined now by our friend Michael Amo from Thoroughfan. Good morning, Michael.
Morning, Seth. How you doing?
Very good. Wanted to have you on because you have an event coming up at the end of the week that we want to tout a little bit and much, much more. Before we do that, though, For folks who maybe aren't familiar with the organization, just give us the overview. What's the mission of ThoroughFan?
It's simple. We believe that we want fans to help rebuild the fan base of racing across the country. So we have members in 30 states. We have small chapters in Florida and Kentucky. And the whole idea is to try to give fans an opportunity to be represented in the sport and get their voice out. Yeah,
great idea. And how old, when you came up with the idea, I thought, boy, this is nice to have a fan-based organization, because the fans are the most important, or one of the key components to racing. You know, owners, the trainers, the fans, the people on the front side who do the business side as well. But fans are a key component, obviously, and a lot of times their voice just doesn't get heard. So I thought it was a great idea to have an organization that would help that. And I started thinking, as you know, I planned you as a guest. It's been a while now. It seems like you're fairly new, but you've been in existence for a while now, right?
Yeah, we actually formed in 2008 as a concept. We got our 501c3 from the IRS as a not-for-profit organization in 2010. So we've been out there around for a while, and yeah, it is. You know, when we write about it and think about it, it's the three-legged stool. You mentioned it. You know, the horseman, the track, and I think you got to put the fans in there.
Sure.
And you can cluster them together. But if one leg is weak, it's tipping over.
Yeah.
And we have to keep that in mind. Yeah.
And to be reactive to the fans, or proactive, the guys, as I say, the business people on the front side have to hear from the fans. And so to get an organization that brings the voice together and has a little power to present those viewpoints is very, very important.
I think it's critical, because so many times as a fan, and you're one, I know, and you hear everybody complain on the other side of the track about this isn't right, that isn't right, but where do you get your voice heard so change can happen? That's really the goal. And
you guys have also sponsored some, for lack of a better word, some town hall type of things over the years that I think are important also.
Yeah, well, one of the things we did in the very beginning, we were instrumental here in New York State in getting established the New York State Racing Fan Advisory Council, which the governor put together, and the Racing Gaming Commission now just reestablished, with 5 members, 3 appointed by the governor and 1 appointed by the Senate and 1 by the Assembly. And its mission is to advise the Gaming Commission on all things horse related. And ThoroughFan, or myself, I got a seat on the Senate appointment to that group, and we meet and we try to have town hall meetings to get fan input.
And again, a great part of making the fans' voice heard, which is very important. So ThoroughFan, I think we had the website up, and if folks want to learn more about how they can participate, there you go, the ThoroughFan website. Certainly go to that, get more information, and I'm assuming you're always welcome to new folks joining the organization.
Please join us. You know, right now, I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about our big event, but if you're a fan, if you're a member of ThoroughFan, there's a real advantage to being a member with respect to the event that's coming up, and we'll talk about that.
And before we get to the event, I also wanted to, you have the Saddle Towel booklet, which is great. You started putting that out a few years ago, and it's certainly beneficial. And mornings, particularly up here, obviously, but for racing fans, mornings are a big part of the Saratoga scene. You can come out, you can eat breakfast over there, take the tram on the backside, and if you're going to watch those morning workouts, that's a great little addition.
Yeah, this is something, one of the locals, Bobby Giordano, who's a member of ThoroughFan, came up with the idea. This is 9th printing of it. We started out and with it, and the whole idea was to try to introduce fans to what was happening during the morning workout. So we started out with saddle towels, because when you're watching a horse go by, you don't know who trains him. You may not even know, you certainly won't know the horse, but if you see the saddle towels, Todd Pletcher and Nick Zito, you kind of can figure out what's going on. And even if you're not handicapping, it makes it more fun to watch the workouts. And then we began to expand it. Our education committee began to expand it and put in a glossary and other information in here so that the fan actually learns more about what the workouts are all about.
Yeah, it's really a fun little publication.
It's free.
And where do people pick it up?
All over town. We got all the venues in town. You can get 5 Points Deli, has them all the time. You can get them at the Whitney stand where they're around.
Recommended, again, if you're going to come in the mornings and watch the workouts, you can kind of follow along, and as you say, a lot of great additional information in there as well. Just before, again, we get to the event, I'm curious, I ask this of many guests, how'd you get into the game?
Oh, wow. How did I get into the game? Date myself, Seth. I was getting out of graduate school, and I went in Stony Brook on Long Island, and my friend and colleague in school said to me, well, you know, what do you want to do this Saturday? Let's go to Belmont. There's a big race, the Belmont Stakes. Let's go watch it. So we decided to go over, and I went before my wife and his wife, and we went over, and what did we see? The Aladar Affirmed race, 1978. You know, and I'd never been to a racetrack before, and I thought they were all going to be like that, you know. And I came away just stunned with how beautiful and exciting and fun this sport was, and just sort of connecting with other people, and over the years coming to Saratoga, and you know.
And you hear a lot of similar stories, and that's what's nice about Saratoga, because Saratoga, I think, offers that kind of atmosphere almost on a daily basis. And I run into people a lot, you know, living in this area. Oh, I've never been to the track. And I say, you know, mark it on your calendar this summer. You don't have to be a racing fan. Come. There's a band in the backyard, usually at the bottom of the escalator, playing during the afternoon. You can enjoy that. People watch all afternoon. And pick a couple of numbers during the day and make a few bets and just have some fun that way. And I don't know whether it works with everybody, but I think if you can get people just to come for the experience, they're going to become fans.
They're going to become fans. It's a, you know, I think it's one of the things that racing maybe is missing a little bit across the country, and it's probably because of the economic model, but I still think it's missing, is that we forget it's a day of entertainment. It's not just always about gambling and winning and picking winners. It's a day of entertainment too. You know, if I tell the story, if a friend of mine wants to go play golf on a Saturday, takes $200 for green fees, 19th hole, and comes back, spends the $200, has a great time. Why can't you take a similar amount of money and go to the racetrack and enjoy the day, even if you lose every race? You're having fun.
That's why people say, oh, you know, I don't know about gambling, and I say, man, if you go skiing, you're going to spend a lot of money. You go play golf, you're going to spend, you know, just set aside a few bucks and play. And you know what? You may leave with more.
Exactly. You may leave with more.
Not leaving the ski slope with more to go. Well, the golf course is, I guess, potentially something to go on with a putt or whatever. You might
maybe, but, if they do that. Sure. No, you're right. That's exactly right. You may live with more, even if you pick a color or name.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I say to people. You don't have to come in, and if the program is foreign to you, you'll learn that over time. Just to pick some names, or also one of the nice things about the racetrack, particularly up here at Saratoga, everybody's kind of friendly. If you don't know what you're reading in the program, dude, just ask. It's all about opinions, and everybody's happy to give it.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
And speaking of you know, giving opinions and the camaraderie of the racetrack, you guys do a great job with the Thoroughfan organization, and you have the event coming up at the end of the week. Let's talk a little bit about that, the awards brunch, which I think it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think we hope it has. This is our 5th annual Thoroughfan Awards brunch. We're doing it here in Saratoga for the first year. The idea came up similar to the foundation of Thoroughfan. It was, let's try to honor people who've done something substantial to build the base and promote the sport. And we, as the board of directors of Thoroughfan, searches for someone every year. We started it 5 years ago. Our first awardee was Patrice Wolfson, who owned Affirmed. It was in Florida because NTRA wanted us to do it as part of Eclipse Week. So we were part of the Eclipse, we're the only fan event during Eclipse Week, and we gave it to Patrice Wolfson. The next year, we were trying to sort out who, and the logical name was Cott Campbell, because he brought thousands of people to the sport because of his partnership model. So we gave him the award. The next year, we said, well, who can we give it to now? And the one that surfaced, Michael Blowen, because he introduced a whole new group of fans to our sport who love the animal and taking care of them. And then they became fans of the sport, so we gave it to Michael Blowen. And of course, last year, after Tom Durkin gave his speech, retirement speech, that he owed his entire career to the fans, we gave it to Tom. And this year, we brought it to Saratoga because we wanted to see what Saratoga would do different than Miami. And we're giving it to Bob Giordano, who's an icon here in Saratoga on the backside, and actually the creator of the Towel Guide. It was his idea 9 years ago to start this thing, and he every year puts it together, keeps the database, goes out and sells advertisements for us. So what more did he do to bring fans, to the sport? It was phenomenal. The morning workouts bring a whole new crop to the sport.
And fill us in on where and when this is coming up.
Sure. This year it's going to be this coming Saturday, August the 12th, at the Embassy Suites. And the program is really quite robust. Acacia Courtney, who's the Gulfstream analyst and is going to be our MC for the 2nd year in a row. Our keynote speaker this year is Donna Brothers.
She's great.
And she is terrific. Here's a jockey, over 1,100 races she won, even ran second in the Breeders' Cup with Hennessy. Is a skilled jockey, now an NBC analyst. She's going to come in and talk about her life in racing and being a jockey and being an analyst. NBC Sports has been wonderful. They gave us a 3-minute clip on her and her whole working, and it's a really professional clip we're going to run as an introduction to her, and that's great. Horse Racing Nation has their fan of the year, Dawn Mellon, who started After the Finish Line and Aftercare organization from California. They're gonna honor her. She's not going to be able to make it this year. She was planning to it, so Michael Blowen has agreed to step in and accept the award for Dawn. So that's going to be great. And then we're going to give it to Bob. Then we're going to give the award to Bob Giordano. We already have a commitment, obviously, that Michael's coming. Blowen's going to come. Tom Durkin called me and said he'll be there. So we know he's coming to be in, and so we're hoping that we have a fun time. We know we're going to have a fun time, and the buffet is absolutely wonderful. It's the highest buffet that the Embassy Suites offers. We figured this is not a fundraiser; it's about honoring the fan and fandom. So, and I mentioned earlier, if you're a Thoroughfan, why would it be good? Well, it costs $50 a ticket to go to the brunch if you want to just pay retail, because our cost is about $35 a ticket to get by. If you're a Thoroughfan member, with a paid member, and it's $25 to join, $20 to renew, you can buy 2 tickets for $20 each.
There you go.
So for your membership, you get what cost everybody $100, you get it for $40. So join Thoroughfan, call up, give us your number, and buy 2 tickets.
Sounds like a great plan and a great idea, and I would tout people, if you're coming up to the racetrack on Saturday, if that's in your wheelhouse, 9 o'clock, swing over to the Diamond Club Grill, and they're a sponsor of ours. I know they have great food over there. It'll be a fun event. It should be done in time to get over to the races as well. I'm sure that's part of the game plan, being a fan organization.
I'm not going to miss it. We end at noon, guaranteed. We've told everybody who speaks, end at noon, because we have to get people over. We're telling them where the trolley meets, so you can get on the trolley right down there and get right over to the track and not have to worry about fighting traffic. So we want that. Maybe we'll get a few tips around the table as everybody has an opinion. But other thing I forgot to mention is we're building a number of door prizes, which are kind of interesting. Donna's got her book is going to be given out to people with signed book. We have 4 seats to Keeneland, reserve seats at Keeneland October meet as a door prize. We've got seats at Saratoga as a door prize. We've had a gift certificate from the Diamond Club. We've got photos from Barry Bornstein, framed photos from Barry Bornstein. So you're going to come in and go away with something too.
Diamond Club Grill at the Embassy Suites. It's like if you're in downtown Saratoga, it's a block away from Congress Park. It's very easy to find and right centrally located. 9 o'clock on Saturday, the Thoroughfan Awards Brunch. Should be a lot of fun. And again, if you join Thoroughfan, you get in a discounted rate. Swing by the website for more information on that. Highly recommend it. Swing by, have the brunch, enjoy the awards breakfast before you come to a day at the races on Saturday. Make it a whole day up here in Saratoga. Again, more information at the website, and it's happening Saturday, kicking off at 9 a.m. at the Embassy Suites right in downtown Saratoga. Michael, we wish you a lot of success on the event. Certainly success going forward with the organization, which, as I say, is a great addition to the just overall horse racing scene.
Thanks an awful lot for having me on, and we'll look to see as many people come out and enjoy Saturday and meet Donna Brothers and Acacia Courtney and have a good time.
Sounds good. Michael Amo from Thoroughfan. We'll head to a break. When we come back, we'll talk with Jim Gluckson from the Breeders' Cup. Coming up at Del Mar this year, that should be a lot of fun. A win and you're in this weekend at Saratoga. We'll hit on all that and more with Jim right after this. Stay with us.
No matter what you're craving or when you crave it, we've got plenty of options for you. Whether it's a hearty breakfast, light lunch, or relaxing dinner, our full-service restaurant and bar will satisfy your every taste. The Diamond Club at Embassy Suites, where the world meets in Saratoga.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Don't miss the 2017 Thorough Fan Annual Awards Brunch with special guest speaker Donna Barton Brothers. This annual event is Saturday, August 12th at the Embassy Suites in Saratoga Springs, New York. Go to thoroughfan.com for tickets and information.
With more than 60 Easy Bed and branch locations throughout the region, you're just a short drive from all the top tracks across the country and around the world. For a complete list of all Easy Bed and branch locations, visit capitalotb.com. Capital OTB. We're closer than you think.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Going on now at Capital OTB. It's Bet 100, get 100. Simply open a new Capital Bets account. Bet $100 and get $100 cash back. That's free money just in time for Saratoga. Bet 100, get 100. Now at Capital OTB.
With Saratoga's best outdoor patio, a spacious bar, and plenty of off-street parking, it's the perfect place to meet friends and relax after an exciting day at the track. The Diamond Club at Embassy Suites, where the world meets in Saratoga.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Monday morning. As promised before the break, happy to be joined now by Jim Gluckson, Media Relations with the Breeders' Cup. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Seth. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you. You came in town, obviously, for the Whitney, a win in your in situation. What were your impressions coming out? You guys have to be salivating because obviously there'll be two, maybe three more races total for these guys. But the showdown with Arrogate and Gunrunner is shaping up to be really a highlight for your weekend.
That was a tremendous performance by Gunrunner. It was extraordinary, horseshoe and all in the tail, getting the job done. Yeah. It was great. He'd already qualified when he won the Stephen Foster for the Classic. And this was, of course, our another challenge race in our series of 81 races for automatic qualifying into the Breeders' Cup World Championships. That was the fourth one for the Breeders' Cup Classic, and our next one will be at the Pacific Classic in a couple of weeks. But this was a tremendous performance by him. I'd also mention that another qualifier, you had Green Mask, who was terrific in the Troy Stakes, who had already qualified in Canada for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.
Oh, the Highlander?
Running the Highlander,
okay.
Absolutely. And that was I think the place was pretty much a buzz yesterday with that performance as well.
Yeah, I said $250,000 ungraded stake. I said by next year there'll be a grade on that stake.
I would hope so.
Yeah. But this was a great performance by Gunrunner. As I say, I think it's setting things up for that showdown with Arrogate. It's going to be fun to see what the NTRA poll comes out with this week and how the gap closes. But boy, you guys, this is going to be the highlight of the weekend.
It's quite intriguing. You have the number one rated horse in the world, number one Longines, world's best racehorse in Arrogate, and the number 3 horse here in Gunrunner. And obviously you go back to that Dubai World Cup where he was passed in what might have been,
yeah.
and that not have happened where this is now. But this is setting up to be a terrific classic. We're taking it all the way through to the end.
Fill us in a little, too, on new venue this year, Del Mar, and how that's shaping up. I think there's a lot of excitement around that.
That's true. This is a completion of a 3-year plan of racetracks that we set a 3-year course back in 2014, where we'd have Santa Anita, Keeneland, and then Del Mar to come in the 3-year cycle. Actually, I should say it's Keeneland, Santa Anita, then Del Mar coming in for this Breeders' Cup. Terrific venue, limited seating, 37,500 each day. We've sold almost all the seats on Friday and on Saturday. There's some limited availability online. But there is great excitement, especially with people who've never been to a Breeders' Cup, never been to Del Mar before. Looking forward to it November 3 and November 4. for another spectacular racing event right there on the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, I've never been to Del Mar. I'd love to go because I'm a beach guy and a horse racing guy. And when they do that shot before the races every day, looking at the beach right across the street, I think, man, what a perfect venue. So I'd love to get out there myself. But I think it's going to be a great venue for the Breeders' Cup. You mentioned the Challenge Series. I pulled up the TV schedule. Arlington Million coming up. Beverly D. You'll be out at the Pacific Classic.
I'll be out of the Pacific Classic. We're very proud of the series this year. For 11 programs, we have a great series in conjunction with NBC Sports to televise racing from the great sites around the country, educate the fans on some of these terrific horses. And when we're in the midst of 6 weeks in a row on national TV with the Challenge Series, which is, I'm glad to say, presented by Lane's End Farm and America's Best Racing, who are sponsors of the televised series. And we think the Challenge is working out very well. This is our 11th year of the Breeders' Cup Challenge. It debuted here in Saratoga in 2007. Lawyer Ron won the Whitney that year, so this has been a great history. And to throw a little more history in it, I mean, we've had great success with Whitney winners in the Breeders' Cup Classic, going back to Awesome Again and in Bettor and Fort Larned and Blame, of course. Yeah. And so we'll see what happens. So it's a terrific series, and you're getting something for nothing for owners to get a free entry into the Breeders' Cup, and trainers as well allows them to maybe bring another horse to run in the Breeders' Cup.
And explain that a little bit. What does Win and You're In mean?
Win and You're In means is that the Breeders' Cup, if you're nominated to the Breeders' Cup program, the Breeders' Cup will pay your pre-entry and entry fees. For example, when Gun Runner won the Stephen Foster Breeders' Cup, picked up his $150,000 entry fee into the Breeders' Cup Classic. Also, you don't have to worry about your points, your graded stakes points getting you in the Breeders' Cup, or getting selected by the committee, since the large majority of the races are restricted or limited to 14 horses.
And so it's a great deal for the owners, and again, it's good for the fans too. It puts a little emphasis on some of these races earlier in the year leading into the Breeders' Cup. You get great coverage via NBC. I'll also tell people to visit the Breeders' Cup website. A lot of great information there. I pulled up, I was kind of leafing through it yesterday. There was a Whitney cheat sheet there that's kind of a lot of fun, a lot of ancillary things that are worth visiting regularly. And I also tell people to swing by the Breeders' Cup Experience Contest. Is open until sometime in October, which offers, I think, a lot of fun potentially for some fans to pick a nice Breeders' Cup experience.
A great experience, be it racing, wagering, and television, or culinary. It's great experiences. That it's one of probably the most popular contests we've had, and I think fans can go up to breederscup.com and sign up to get involved, to try to get a special experience at this year's event.
Also, as you came sat down on the set today, you mentioned the Horse Players website as well, and that's worth noting.
Thank you, Seth. It's a great new venture that the Breeders' Cup and the National Thoroughbred Racing Association have put together, a new website called horseplayers.com, which allows players to qualify for the NHC and for the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge. Our racing's the biggest live money event online at horseplayers.com. There are qualifying tournaments for spots, guaranteed positions in the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge. There's including today, the sign up for spots in the Betting Challenge to get involved in contests. So this has also been a popular venture that we've gotten great response from.
I'm a contest fan, and I won the low rollers yesterday. It's a little different. Got in for 40. Breeders' Cup is a $10,000 buy-in, but that's the beauty of these early contests. You can spend a lot less money and get your way paid into the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge.
It's the economical way to go.
Yeah.
So encourage people to go in and get signed up and try to qualify.
And what's the website again?
It's horseplayers.com, simple horseplayers.com website.
Yeah. And as I say, the Breeders' Cup website, again, highly touted. So what's next up for you? Penelope Miller, I talked to her. She goes around for America's Best Racing to the various racetracks. I'll put you right in that category. One of the best jobs in racing is you get to go around and see the nicer venues in the country for the bigger races as you go around for the Breeders' Cup.
Well, as I mentioned, I'll be out at the Pacific Classic promoting our event there, the Winning Your Own races that are there in the Pacific Classic. I think it'll be a great tension and a focus on our defending champion. Yeah. So it'll be terrific, and then we work behind the scenes to promote our event, and we look forward to full fields in these races for the bettors, so we can give them loads of opportunities. I think that's something that we like about the World Championships, is tremendous betting opportunities, and we'll have a full wagering menu coming up right around the time of pre-entry for our fans this year, and the guarantees in our pools.
That is the beauty of the Breeders' Cup, the betting side of things, where you look at the race and you that Grade 1 winner is 30-1, and your mouth salivates. Right. I'm not going to put you on the spot before we let you go, so I won't say what's your all-time favorite racetrack, but I'll just ask you generally, as a homer here up at Saratoga. Again, you've been around to all the big events in the country. Talk a little bit about just your feelings of Saratoga when you come, because it's so unique with the fans and the town and whatnot.
Well, I can't be objective. I went to college here. I was graduated from Skidmore College, right up the street here in Saratoga. And this is about my first time ever to a racetrack, believe it or not, was the Kentucky Derby. So they started pretty well, but coming here is a very special place, and it's just all about the horses, and it's just so enjoyable just to go around, especially in the mornings. And the fact here at Saratoga makes it great is the New York Racing Association lets you come in and walk around. You don't get to walk around Yankee Stadium or Jerry Jones Stadium in the day. You get to go, you get to come in and walk around here and soak it in, and it's just a wonderful experience to be here. And I think everyone that I've ever talked to who came up here for the first time have often said, "Why did I wait so long? This is tremendous."
Yeah, you stand out in the back of the clubhouse and the jockey pad. There's little kids waiting for high fives from the jockeys. And you don't see that in other sports.
Quite close.
Yeah. I'll ask you now, because you piqued my interest. I asked Michael Amo before, how'd you get into the game?
I got into the game actually watching a lot of television. I was astounded how many people watched or were interested in the Kentucky Derby when the television and CBS carried it many years ago. It was the first thing about it that I found astounding, and how predictable I would say that it was, to the extent that the horses that they spoke about in the lead up actually did pretty well, and there was a way to handicap it. And the other part about it is, when you got to see them up close, they were a majestic and beautiful animal in the thoroughbred. The thoroughbred racehorse is just indescribably wonderful, and I think those are the two combinations that got me interested in the sport. And I think that it was a learning experience. Also, reading Andy Byer's books on handicapping got me to that phase of it. But you're constantly learning and relearning of what you do, and just some days you just like to just relax and just enjoy the horses running, and in other days you want to hit the winners and make the big score, and throughout the entire afternoon.
Yeah, and those are the opportunities we have up here at Saratoga. I do both. There are afternoons where I'm just kind of sitting back and playing lightly and just enjoying the crowd in the day, and there are some days where I got a couple clever ideas today, and you jump in and try to make the magic. I made some magic happen this weekend. I may be retired for the season now.
All right.
It's a good weekend.
That's a good roll.
I may have to sit on the sidelines a little bit, but certainly happy to have you in town again, and winning you're in on Saturday in the Whitney, although, as you say, the winner had already qualified.
He had already qualified, that's correct.
Stephen Foster, but boy, helped set up what's going to be potentially a great classic. Keep our fingers crossed here. They get to the date all healthy and everything. Arrogate puts in a good Pacific Classic. I think you guys are set up for a really big weekend at Del Mar coming up a little bit later this year. Jim, appreciate the visit. Good luck going forward.
Thanks for having me.
Jim Gluckson from the Breeders' Cup. Should be a big event out at Del Mar this fall. Really looking forward to it. All right, we're going to wrap things up. Thank Jim Gluckson. We thank Michael Amo for Thoroughfan, Gabby Gaudette from the New York Racing Association, Anna Seitz Cianello from Fasig-Tipton. Again, go over tonight and check out the sales right up the street, 2 blocks from the track. A lot of fun tonight and tomorrow night. That's highly recommended. T-shirt giveaway day today here at the racetrack. There's a $91,000 pick 6 carryover, also highly recommended. The low roller contest continues today. It's every Sunday and Monday. Go over by the 4-Star Dave bar if you'd like to participate. Big day up here at the racetrack, because it looks like the weather's going to hold, at least at this point. The sun is shining. All right, I'm going to wrap things up for a Monday edition of Racing Across America. We appreciate your stopping by to visit. Enjoy the races this afternoon. Let's all cash some tickets. Meet right back here on Wednesday morning.
You've been watching Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America has been brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. Pannell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. Thoroughfan, giving the fan a voice. Find them at thoroughfan.com. Woodbine Racetrack, Pick, bet, and cheer on world-class horse racing north of the border. And the new Capital OTB mobile app. Wager anytime, any place, anywhere. Download it free from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.